let's make a video out of this, chat. Here we have a video by Destiny Bolton. Rate Destiny 2 Heresy out of 10. Scholars. We just got done doing, finishing up episode Heresy. That video will be up. Here, we're just gonna go and see what people are rating. 7. However, this week bumps it up to 8. Final mission is crazy. Did we play the same fucking mission again? Grifters. I'm telling you, what fucking mission? How did it bump up to 8 because this mission? What happened this mission that was so god tier? What about this mission? What about this mission was amazing? We killed a Savathun projection, which you can do in the Witch Queen. We killed a giant ass Hive Knight, which you could do in other places. And then we literally we killed the Shade of Oryx 3 times, which guess what? You can do that in King's Fall. Then we killed, guess what? Another Dread Lieutenant. Funny enough, you can do that. You've been doing that all through the Nether. And then we messed with the Echo. We got to throw blades at a floating Echo. You know, it'd been really cool if we had an actual like Oryx boss fight. Imagine the conclusion is that we go to Oryx's original throne room. Hell, we even go to maybe the raid throne room where we fight Oryx in the raid, and then we just fight this shade, the actual like shade of him, not the one that we kind of fight. I mean, like the Oryx fight, and then it's like in the same room as Oryx, or we fight his big raid boss version or a mini version of that, and he's roaming around slamming his sword. There could have been so many other ways that we could have had a cool fight, but instead we just threw blades at the Echo, and that was it. But hey, that alone bumped it up to an 8. 7, mostly for the activities. Loot is meh, and the constant perk refreshes on things I rarely have are annoying. I don't know about this last part. Everything else checks out. I would say it's a 7. 10, the storytelling alone is legit fire. Are you smoking dope? It's a 10, the storytelling alone. Yeah, the parts that you could hear. 5 out of 10, the season is broken. The seasonal activities are not fun. Interesting story. Worst take ever. Anybody that disagrees with this, always the worst take ever. W take. I second that. Worst take ever. It's good. I'm burned out from this game. I only do the season pass, and if next DLC shows no promise, I might quit the game, which is what a lot of people feel like. 8 out of 10 still will be 10 out of 10 if not for that strange ending. It is not close to a 10 out of 10. What are Destiny players smoking crack? It was a 7, maybe generously an 8 of an episode compared to the other episodes. But when you're looking at the grand scheme of Destiny, there's no fucking way that this episode was a 10 out of 10. You are stroking the cock of Bungie. Was decent voice lines. Also, I'm trying to limit my takes because I'm doing an actual brutally honest review. And so that's why I'm just reacting to what they say and not necessarily what I actually think, because you're going to find out. And like whenever I finish the script and record everything, which based on how things are going, might be another hour video. So get your popcorn ready, kids. Was decent voice lines ruined? And also the end was so mid. Thank you. The grind is F, slow. The grind was pretty bad. 8, could be a 10. All the voice acting was there and intact. And for crying out loud, it's been since February 22 that I've had a shiny adept. Damn. Give my man a shiny. Season 7.5. Ending of, this is a fair assessment. The end of the act was a fucking 0.5. When your status quo doesn't fucking change in the story, like imagine Harry Potter. There was a boy who has a lightning bolt. And then there's a villain who's dead, but he wants to come back to life. He comes back to life. Actually, that is Harry Potter. But imagine, just imagine that you go through the process of Harry Potter, but at the end, instead of Harry being grown up and having kids and living a nice, safe, like happy life, instead it goes back to the beginning where he's just still a little kid, and then there's still evil dudes everywhere. You killed the dude that was already dead, he who shall not be named, but he's still dead. And Harry's still a little kid. Like the status quo, nothing in the actual story has changed. That was the end of this act. Nothing. Oh, I take that back. Now Savathun's pissed at us again. She's mad at us. Granted, she's pissed at us because we also took her son's head, which is such a weird throwback. Like, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do with head? The only time. Okay, I'm sorry. I laughed in my head because Bungie intentionally put the head of Malak in the game because for a lot of Destiny players, that's the only head they get. That's the only head they're gonna get. I just said that. Bungie put the head in there for people who don't get head. But don't worry, little Timmy. Bungie's got you. You're gonna get your head one way or another. Anyways, 9 point. Yeah, no. 7.5 so far. So far. That is literally it. We're done. 8, but the loot fatigue sets in early. It does. That's a big problem with the Nether, is that it's the loop causes fatigue very quickly. 8 and 7. I think if you think it's 8, I think that's fairly fair. I think if you go above an 8, you are delusional. I think if you think a 5, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. We've had worse episodes than a 5. 2, the bugs, the lack of patrol zone. Did you play the ending? Sunless Shell was ruined. Okay, I don't agree with this last one, and I don't agree with I guess a 2. I don't think it's a 2. Everything else I agree with. The bugs, the lack of patrol zone, and the ending was god-awful. It's one of the best periods of Destiny has ever had, honestly. The ending was very abrupt, but that's really the only complaint I have. I wasn't expecting Frontiers cheese or anything abrupt. Ending is the only complaint I have, but I am expecting a finale or something before next DLC. I doubt we'll have a finale. I doubt it. I doubt we will. Bungie has not done a live event in years. But it was one of the coolest things that they, which is funny. Bungie took all the Fortnite-fication, like having Star Wars and all these other bullshit things in the game now, but they left out the part where there's cool live events that Fortnite does, and Bungie did that at one point, and they're like, no, we can't do that no more. Took away crafting still, no voice lines, odd ending of no gateway to next expansion. It is really weird. It just cuts off abruptly. Like there is no loot way unless you're gonna say Savathun is the enemy for the next expansion. The loot farm for 4 tiers of weapons that consistently drop as trash was miserable. Last season was worse, like a 4 out of 10. So I'd give this one a 6-ish 10. I think that's fair. Like a 6 overall. The activities get really boring really fast. The loot is mostly fine, but nothing crazy. The story is good, but it's really weird the way they end it. And only the second week of Act 3, when we have 3 months until the next expansion. Here's the deal. I think they gave us the week 1 or week 2 and week 3 early. Now, you could argue that's great and that's cool, and that removes some of the time gate if that's the case. But let's be honest. There was nothing fucking there. There was no substance. There was like nothing there, which is why I say time gating exists, is to mask the fact that there is no content. That is all that's there. It's to mask the fact that there is no content. I won't give it a score yet until I 100% know the story is done. For now, a 7. It's done. The lack of voice lines really takes you out of the vibe. It's a damn schizofest with how these characters just talk to themselves. Subtitles don't count. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is no, because it doesn't make sense. Why would they do a new quest line? Because next week would be the last week, unless they're somehow going to try to squeeze out extra weeks for this episode. I don't know. I doubt they'll do that. It really feels like they released both week 2 and 3 at the same time. Should have been a 8 out of 10, but the lack of VA brings it down to a 5. Okay, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's bad. I would say at least a 7. For me, it takes it down a point. I think that's insane to take 3 points because of voice lines. It does really hurt the story, but I wouldn't say it's a 5. The storytelling was fantastic. My only gripe is how the ending was today. The final mission was immaculate. Bro, how shitty. Like, what kind of shit games do you play that you think this is immaculate? I've seen better custom-made Fortnite events, like custom-made, and they're I've played better missions in Halo Forge than I than this mission. Like, you guys are starving. Please go play good missions. Go play good games. That was not a good mission. If that was just the baseline for the entire episode and we got over the top one mission and that was the ending, I'm okay with that. But this being the over top was not good. 7.5 was really fun. Act 1 early on. Act 2 stuff kind of just get repetitive by the end. Kind of wish we got a third smaller activity or something. Hoping that the dungeon thing lights a fire back under my ass. Again, for anyone wanting to know, Rights of the Nine is not part of episode Heresy. It is not paid content. It is its own standalone event that's going to flex in between Frontiers and Heresy. Heresy is its own thing, its own package, and for as it is now, it's done. We're done. The package deal's done. This is what you get. This is what you get for your money. Honestly, mid as F. I really tried to enjoy the story and did it for the first 2 acts, but man, the finale was awful. They really fumbled a way to start a new journey with Willbreaker being able to pilot the Dreadnought to another system and to have taken subclass. That is true. We're ignoring the fact that we have a sword that can literally drive the Dreadnought. So what's supposed to happen to the Dreadnought now? Where's the Wrath? And what's going to happen to the Taken that were infesting the ship? And what are we doing now with the Taken powers? Also, what the fuck is supposed to happen to Salone now? She's just still Taken? Like, and what's going to happen with Eris Morn in her Ascendant realm? It was going to be an 8 until they completely fucked everything up with a horrible ending. The entire episode was pointless. The only thing that mattered was Eris getting her own throne world in the very first mission. Complete waste of time. Thank you! You know what? You corrected me, sir. There was something that happened this episode. Eris got a throne world. They baited us by making her think she died, even though they showed us that she didn't die, and they kind of ruined up the build-up that she didn't die. But hey, she has a throne world now. So I guess the status quo was broken. We went through the entire episode just so Eris can get her own room. She has her own room now. Her and the Drifter can now have hot, sexy time alone. That's great, isn't it? Hot, sexy time in the Ascendant world. Woo! Hive, bring a sword. And Drifter's got a big one, apparently. 8, no weapon crafting sucks. Loot on the second activity is bad. I think Nether makes this okay. I think literally it is ass how bad Court of Blades is. Cool story, cool exploration and secrets, nice content delivery overall. Nice. Yeah, I don't know about that. But best we've had for a while, but following the trend, whatever next will suck. No. How's this the best we've had for a while? Yeah, you're right. You know what? This is a fair thing. Compared to what we had this year, this was better. Let's see. How did we end? So Echoes ended with Maya still living, and she still has the Echo. We have Revenant, where we kill the bad guy. Why do I forget his name? I've already blocked out that whole story because it's so ass. But Aramis escaped, or didn't escape. She left to go be fallen Jesus with the Echo. And now we have Oryx, who's dead again. And so is the Echo. Even though we don't fucking know what the Echo actually did, like its actual power, besides being Oryx. There was no threat at all from the Echo. This is another presentation of there's this thing that everyone fucking wants, but we don't know what it actually fucking does. Man, it's almost like the Veil all over again. It's Lightfall writing. 6.5 activity, all right. It's better than Revenant, but worse than Echoes. Damn! Damn. Wait, what? It's better than Revenant, but worse than Echo. So wait, so you're saying what? So Revenant is better. So you're saying Echoes is better than Revenant indirectly? Okay. Story. Only Act 2 was kind of juicy. In my opinion, I feel Echoes and Revenant were better. Damn. But all three endings were mid. Heresy is the worst by far. Fucking exactly. Heresy had one of the worst endings because no one cared about Maya. At least we had some final kill fight, boss fight with Revenant. But this was a storyline that people have been waiting for, and Bungie built up because it's the high pantheon, and it just did nothing. There was like, at least Aramis going and becoming fallen Jesus in Revenant was a change of the status quo. The Echo exists. She has power. She's going to be fallen Jesus now. At least that was something. We have done nothing besides give Aramis her own Hotel 8. Woo! Aramis is renting out Hotel 8. Okay. Let's see what chat has to say. Zero Wrath cutscene doesn't make sense even more now. It doesn't. The story did have some high moments for sure. The voice acting for Oryx was amazing, but overall, all episodes get a big fat F. No innovation. Seasons were but worse in my general feeling. No weapon crafting plus mid weapons. Big fat L. What's up, Firestone? Echoes felt like we were just there as an extra in the background. That's true. It's the MacGuffin. Echo equals Vel for sure. All three episodes are bad. It's just a bad all the way around. It does. It feels like such a stinking fart. It is sad because Bungie can make great storylines, and this year, outside of the final shape, showcased that apparently none of those story writers exist anymore. Like there's moments of glory in the story that then just goes down the toilet. It's almost like the story writers come up with this great idea, and then someone down the line just starts ripping pages out and says, bam, there it is. 6.5 out of 10. This week's story mission made me stop caring whatsoever because I can't progress with ease. On top of that, I just stopped caring for Destiny at the stage. My character story ended, and that's all that matters. 8 out of 10. One of the best season episodes we've gotten. Season started cool, good opening, but at the end, story doesn't feel right with no voice lines, constant boring side quests, no health regen in the nether as Horde, and the constant core blade soft locks. Just regular D2 now. It's unfortunate. 5 out of 10. And I'll give it a 7. Last season would have been a 5. When the Riot 9 releases, that's not. That's not part of Heresy, bud. I'm just gonna correct you. That's not part of Heresy. Again, there's people who are fucking stupid. Literally best season we got so far. Goated seasonal activities, goated story. You are definitely tweaking, and not in the good way. 7.5, maybe even 8, depending on how the new dungeon stuff goes. I'd go 8. Stop! I don't understand what people don't understand. That it's literally separate. You don't have to pay for Heresy. It's free. I know that's hard for people to understand what free experience. Damn! 3 out of 10. Story starts off strong, but then flames out quickly. Unsatisfied ending, no crafting. Dreadnought is kind of cool, but not enough to carry the whole episode. The episode Heresy experience, the gunsmith rep. 1 out of 5 roll. 1 out of 5. True. 7 out of 5 for activities. Got bored after a bit. 9 out of 5 for storytelling. Glad we got back to the Dreadnought. 7 out of 10 for weapons. Were not the funnest to use. 9 out of 10 for weapon design. Yeah, the weapon design was fire. Overall score, 8.5. Thanks to Bungie for the fun season and the new stuff with it. 8 out of 9. Easily best episode so far. True, I agree. So overall, that's the low bar, by the way. When we say it's the best episode so far, there's only going to be 3 episodes, and that's not a high bar to go past when we're looking at Revenant episode echoes. So 4 out of 10. Sloan forgot how to turn on her mic through. Oh, I need, man, if I had money, I would pay someone to custom make like a cutscene with Salone with a mic, and then someone's like voice acting her, and she's like trying to play like a raid or something, and her mic goes out, and everyone's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Because that's what it feels like. That's what it felt like. That's funny. That's funny. What's up, JoJo? 9 out of 10. The second best non-expansion con I think we've ever gotten outside of the Into the Light. Non-expansion. You know what? Yeah. You obviously never experienced the seasons in Forsaken. Yeah, you've never experienced Forsaken. And let me tell you, not only do we get the menagerie, we got Crown of Sorrow, we've got so much good stuff. We got raids, we got content, we got some of the best exotics, we got good storyline. Granted, I think people received Black Armory better than the actual activity because, yeah, the activity wasn't the most overblown, exciting. But people loved the Black Armory weapons. People loved doing the raid, Scourge of the Past. People loved the secrets, the hunting. Like, it was full of cool secrets. Hell, even we got like, what was it called? The Forge, not the. I forgot what the hell it's called, but it was this massive secret that was made by Vicarious Visions. It was just amazing, immaculate. I don't know. People, the weirdest things that people like glaze is insane. 7 out of 10 overall. Love the story. Man on the loot. Oh, and the repetition. Non-explorable limited maps. I think it's a solid 6 or 7. I'm a firm believer opulence being the best. Praise! Praise be you. A knower, finally. Someone. Finally, someone who actually plays the game and understands good content. Finally. Praise be you, Nathan. Praise be you. 7, the story was good. Build crafting around Arc was fun. Didn't mind the activities. I want to say that the artifact, like, no one's talking about how immaculate the artifact mods. This is how you make good artifact mods. This is probably the best artifact mod selection we have had since artifacts were made. It is so good. How many actual artifact the artifact mods work, which is, you know, that's pretty sad that that's your bar starts at they function like they should. Secondly, that they're really good and worth chasing and using and build crafting with. Probably like 7 or 8. The story is pretty decent and the activities were easily better than the ones from the other 2 episodes. This is a fair assessment. This is someone who is sound-minded and fair. Fair. 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5. It's not bad. PvP just feels neglected as per usual. Again, PvP is free. I'm looking at the actual episode, and you could argue the buffs and nerfs, I do think do come seasonal. That's part of the seasonal package. The buffs and nerfs that Bungie does is always different. They intentionally change things, shake up seasons. So we know that buffs and nerfs, even though it is free, is still part of the package of episodes or seasons because Bungie specifically changes them to make seasons more interesting. So I would agree, PvP definitely needs a little bit more. They should just definitely do a season for PvP. I know most people won't like that, but if you make PvP fun for most people, they won't complain. Isn't that interesting how that works? If you make PvP fun for most people, they won't. They're not going to mind it. I would like to see more PvE, PvP modes. Like, imagine a boss rush against another team. Like Gambit, but just boss rush. Like Guardian games, except you're going against, it's solo. Oh my God. 1v1v1. So you get placed, but there's like first place, second place, and third place. And you get loot, so everyone gets something. But the best, obviously, you want to get first place to get the most rep and get the higher chance of getting the best loot. But you literally get spawned in, and you have different like mini arenas next to each other, and you fight bosses. And so you're just in your little bubble. You can't interact with other people, but you're absolutely just fighting bosses. And you could do different tier systems based on like, I don't know how Bungie would balance it out. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas out there, but that would be a really cool like competition of like, I'm gonna solo these bosses while fighting against these other dudes. You know, a PvE, PvP that lets you be a solo player, but you're also having some competition so you can show off your skills against other players. There you go, Bungie. I just gave you a cool little mini activity. Will they do it? Probably fucking not, but I just gave you a cool idea. It's a better version of a Gambit. Niobe Labs. Yes, Niobe Labs. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Niobe Labs was the Black Armory secret event that was just mwah, mwah. Also, just a shout out to the sundial and the time. What God, you can tell that I'm my brain and memory is going down the drain. The corridors of time. It's still in me. That's where we first see Ergo Sun, by the way. If you didn't know, history lesson for you kindergartens out there. Those are the things about seasons that are memorable. The community working together to literally go through time in the game to figure out the secret of Corridor's time was just so good. And people are out here sucking the peen out of Heresy and Echoes and Revenant. Like, you guys have no fucking idea what was actually good. No clue at all. Because let me tell you, we've had some fantastic events in Destiny seasonal history that Bungie just doesn't do anymore because beware over delivery. Beware over delivery. 8 or 9. I feel like 7 could, or 8. Could be definitely 8 if there's a nice epilogue of sorts. Loot wasn't bad. The activities were also not bad. Story was more interesting too. Love interacting basically with the past version of Oryx. Bro called us King Queen. And then we literally killed him. Dude, I feel bad for Oryx. Dude was like, yeah, I have nowhere to go. Maybe the stars will remember me. You gotta think, this is the Oryx before he totally did the like dark shit. This is like the Oryx that just killed like a worm god. Like this is the Oryx before he like killed a bunch of guardians and all this other stuff. Like this was the cool Oryx that was getting ready to do massacre stuff. But then we told him he died and he's like, okay, I died. Well, I'm not even gonna do this then. You the king, held the king. Like, bro was our wingman and we made him sad. Fuck you, Bungie. Oryx was the ultimate bro, and we killed him. We killed our brother. Asshole. The strongest of all Echoes and probably the best season we've had in a while. 8 or 9. This is like one of the best seasons we've had. It sucks that there's no chance we keep this level of narrative going forward. What fucking narrative? I kid you not. People will eat shit and call it ice cream. Initial week was awesome, then went back to feeling like a chore. True. Let me get it straight. The cutscenes and the build-up was exceptional. When you build up the story and you get to the end and nothing changes, it's a shitty story. It's like watching Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer makes the nuke. And instead, where the movie ends with him drop the like one of the big core things about the nuke being dropped and killing, a bunch of Japanese. It's like, oh, he made the bomb, but then they don't do anything with it, and we're just back to square one where we're still at war. Nine, Act 2 ending was disappointing. Yes, it was. I don't know. I wouldn't give it a 9. Act 2, what the fuck? You think Act 3 is better? Nice. Got to go back to the Dreadnought again, but fairly repetitive. Yes, I think 7's fair. I think this episode definitely nostalgia baited too much. Solid 8. I don't mind the grind. I like to come home for work and shoot space aliens in the face. 7 out of 10. 8 overall. Story was much better this season. Nether is a ton of fun. Core is The depths from the activities need to be buffed again. I will say this is absolutely the most consistent I have been in playing D2 since Seraph. And I will say, I have played more in Heresy than I have in all episode Echoes and Revenant. I have not gone back to touch any of those activities. None of the loot interests me at all. Not a single thing. In fact, the jolting feedback SMG and pulse rifle has immediately been replaced by other things that are fucking better. I have already replaced those weapons. They're fucking useless to me. 1 or 2, the game never has been in the... God dang. Again, I don't know if I would say 1 or 2. Storytelling, only a hard 6.5 or 7. The missing voice lines really drag. Otherwise, fantastic experience. Dungeon activity are awesome. 9 out of 10. Again, the dungeon is paid. It is separate content. The dungeon is its own paid content. You do not have to buy the dungeon. Buying Heresy does not give you access to the dungeon. Please, can people educate themselves? It's like when people go and they buy a printer and they think that it comes with the printer cord, and then you have to pay for the printer cord separate, and you plug it together and like, oh man, this printer's amazing. You still had to pay for a separate cord. That wasn't part of the package. How's the cord doing? It was a really, really fucking bad metaphor. It's so fucking dumb. Sometimes I have some good metaphors on the spot, but that one was fucking dumb. 6 out of 10. Good story, bad ending. You know, yeah. A good story, bad ending. Very anticlimactic. You know what's a perfect metaphor? It's like you buy this nice car, or you buy a car in general. You buy a car, and then you buy a nice radio, and you put it in the car. You're like, man, this car is amazing. I got this sweet radio. Bitch, you bought the radio separately. It wasn't part of the car. It didn't come with the car. The radio is good because the radio is good, not because the car is good. Perfect. There's your better metaphor. Lay it on me. Yes. Something out of 10. Haven't played a single minute. Okay. Why are you commenting? Why are you commenting? It's kind of disappointing. 6 out of 10. The story is great. Not having all the voice lines available stunk. Not Bungie's fault, but still, it is their fault. They should have replaced the voice actor and or cut the lines and had another voice actor like Eris or Drifter kind of fill in the blanks. They could have definitely done something better. They didn't have to keep the text in there. There is nothing in their contract-wise that says text has to stay in there. They can replace the text with some other voice line. It is very possible and feasible to do. Bungie just chose not to do it. Quarter Blades is super fun to run and can be cleared quickly if you know what you're doing. The ending was so anticlimactic to me, it just ended. Dude, Quarter Blades would be really good if the loot was good. And when I say loot good, I mean the reward of the loot. It feels like a stinker. You could speed run the Nether in about 15, 20 minutes with a good team and get more loot than you do Quarter Blades. Absolutely disappointing. All right, let me know what you think down below. A lot of 5s, a lot of 6s, a lot of 7s. There's a couple of people smoking crack cocaine that are saying 10. Again, you are smoking crack. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. As always, don't forget to game out, and I'll see you later. Look forward to my Heresy brutally honest review. I've given you a little taste, little taste about what's to come.